It's not about the destination. It just isn't. With music or with film, with art, with life, it doesn't work that way. At least not with most of us. Maybe just me. 15 years into filmmaking and chasing down the horizon that never gets here. It's like running down the moon half asleep in the backseat of your parents' car as a kid. There will always be the next album or movie or gig. Always be another stage to play or movie to make or award to take home. It was never about getting the whatever it is, you ask me. It's about the reach, the try, the drive, the chase. And it's about who walks beside you on your journey, who's there with you as you take your shot and make your run. We caught up with the Whitelighters at Class and Recorders off of 63rd in Oklahoma City. I bummed a ride to get there, so I sprung for a few interview beers. Wasn't long before their tour manager, Trey, was gone and back again with a bottle of Evan Williams for us to split over road stories. The guys were quiet at first, that didn't last. Neither did the bottle. And I laughed a lot. They take the music seriously, no doubt, and the chase, but not themselves. And that makes you cheer for them even more. They're all three different, all coming from their own places and their own shoes. That much is the same. The artist business is full of people taking moody, overcorrected high-angle selfies and giving themselves 5-star reviews. It's refreshing to just hang with three guys who love what they do, love who they're doing it with, and are damn good at getting it done.
We just love like hanging out with each other and shit. That's kind of the funnest part, and I feel like that's why it's so organic and easy to write shit, and it just feels right, you know?
It's not to find the best players, it's who you can hang out with for 24 hours a day.
Who you can be stuck in a vehicle with.
Yeah, especially an extended cab Chevy. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Going to Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's the whole thing is, I mean, we've hit the road a bunch and we don't fight. The other day, or it was last Saturday, we went into Walmart and bought baseball gloves. Some baseballs.
Which
and played
was a
catch.
terrible idea.
Yeah,
It was a horrible idea.
So my shoulder is still sore from that shit.
We woke up the next morning and was like, I told my girlfriend, I was like, I'm gonna throw that thing away.
The Whitelighters are a rock/blues/country/southern rock band out of Oklahoma City. Since 2016, Joe Neal Prouty, Derek Carruthers, and Dwight Hamlin have been playing together and touring, making their name, building a following, and paying their dues. They played their first gig at the Deli like any self-respecting Oklahoma rock band, and they've cut 2 EPs thus far. Tracked the first one, the Ridgeview Session, in Brady's garage. They've got a full album expected later this year.
Like, me and Joe started it. We went on a trip to Nashville, to like a riding trip, and more of just like a party trip, let's be honest. But so we went out there and wrote a bunch of tunes, and on the way home, it was like, let's just start a band, you know? We came up with the band name and started jamming, and he was the perfect one to get in. So I played in a band with Joe Neal before we started anything, called Midwest Tragedy originally, but
It fizzled out pretty quick.
yeah.
Yeah, why is that?
It was more of a party than a band, really, so health issues for the majority of everyone, and marriage issues, some legal stuff.
This is like a behind the music. We haven't even started. Okay.
He had already started writing and, you know, kind of recording some stuff, and The funny thing is, I have a twin brother, and he approached him at the bar and asked him if he wanted to play bass on it, but he's a drummer.
Oh, no, that's not how it went.
That's exactly how it went.
Well, when was this? When and where? Like, and then go on with your argument.
That was at the deli.
Yeah. No, it was a long night at the deli.
Y'all should
I'd already
fight.
talked to Devin.
Who's right? Who's wrong?
Do what?
I don't know.
No, y'all traded spots. But both had long hair at
Well,
the
you
time.
didn't let me finish. And so Devin went along with it for a while, and then he was like, "You do realize I'm Devin, right?" And then he came to me and was like, "Hey, do you want to come play bass on some stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I said, "Who's gonna play drums?" And he's like, "Joe Neal." So went to his house, started laying down some tracks.
So where did the band name come from?
It's the Whitelighter curse. You talk about the 27 Club and all that. Went off of that. And then as well as, what is the Isle of Wight?
Yeah.
They talk about, like, the Whitelighters are ghosts that go through the Isle of Wight.
Then Leonard Cohen, like
Yeah.
when people get their lighters and like wave it around, I guess he stopped a riot by doing that. That's the first like documented like lighter experience in a concert.
If you close your eyes and listen to the music loud enough, you can smell the cigarette smoke and almost taste the barroom whiskey. Feel that restless energy of a grooving song where someone beautiful is dancing and anything can happen in the shadows of neon lights. Rock and roll, man. Crowdy on drums, Carruthers on bass, and Hamlin on vocals and lead guitar. Individually, they're talented and driven, no doubt. Together, undeniable soul, powerful songwriting, and that magnetic kind of rock and roll chemistry that puts the hair up on the back of your neck or soundtracks the hell out of your worst broken heart. Do you like the recording process, the writing process, or the playing?
They're both different. The live thing is awesome when, like, especially as we kind of beat up the road a little bit and kind of got people where they actually understand us and know some of the songs, where they actually sing back.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah.
Where they know the songs, and that you can't beat that. But the recording process, it breaks you down and it brings you up at the same time. It's like one of the coolest things in the world. You'll track something and think it's the best shit, and then you come back and listen to it, and you're like, God damn it. You gotta go back and replay it, and then, like, you get better every time. you know?
Right.
It's a growing process, but that's my favorite part about recording, for sure.
What about you guys?
I would say the recording process is my favorite. There is something about being in the studio that's calming to me, and getting to watch what you do,
Right.
and step by step, and it's just this fulfilling.
The writing process is probably my favorite because
Yeah.
like creatively you're taking nothing and then you end up with like
Something.
this structure, and then you take it to the studio and it's like, okay, so it goes from this realm to like the next level.
Right.
And then by the time you're playing it live and like people know it and all that, like the energy, you can control the energy of the crowd by that nothingness that you made into something, if that makes sense.
Well, there's like different stages of life, I think. Like if you write something and nobody's read it, then it's not alive yet.
Right.
But then once you've shared it like with your crew, right, and you guys start breathing like sort of your own energy into it, and then it becomes something else. And then there's that next step where you're playing it for other people, and then you're bringing them in, and then it becomes like its own monster at that point.
Yeah.
Who would you guys throw out as your like individual influences? Because you're all bringing something different to the game.
As far as writers go, like, I look up to, like, Isbell and, like, Childers and all them, you know, as well as Mike McClure. And there's quite a few local Oklahoma people, too, that I look up to as far as writers. But I love Audio Slave growing up, and, like, Chris Cornell stuff, all that. That's definitely influenced everything.
It's kind of more of the people that I knew growing up. My first lead singer, Derek Paul, his dad played bass until he died. He played for Toby Keith. And I grew up watching him play bass. I grew up watching him on, award shows and stuff like, on TV and late night shows. After I started playing bass, they were all going, "You play exactly like him. Your hands are exactly like his." So without knowing it, he's the guy that I'm imitating, you know?
I just listen to a lot of rap, really. So I don't know how my influences would really work with this. Whether you call it rock or country or blues, I guess we're greeted with open arms by multiple genres, and it works out well for us because there's no shortage of a scene to play around in Oklahoma. So even pop country, we played with Justin Moore and Chase Rice.
Yep.
We did a show with the Toadies.
Yeah,
like
that
last
was
month.
That may be the coolest show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why?
Just the crowd interaction at the show, like it was one of the coolest vibes in the room you
One
ever
of the
had.
nicest crowds too, really.
They were paying attention.
They were paying attention.
They came to see music and not just party.
Right.
Even there was I remember specifically a couple they couldn't be more front and center. And I immediately, when we came out, I go, "Oh, he's gonna hate us." And
So you were calling it? Like you were just like, yeah, this guy's...
And within 2 or 3 songs, him and his girlfriend were
into it.
into it. And then whenever we got done, and I even told him that night, I was like, "They're asking to take pictures with the bass player. They loved us. Like, they loved us."
Like, that's how you know? Like,
Yeah.
I can call her home when I know we're better off alone.
I mean, are you pretty unified in regards to the sound that they're going for? Like what you're what you want it to be? Or do you guys ever argue that out? What's that like?
I just think we just do what we do and just keep it at that.
Yeah, like every time, we'd go to practice and he'd be like, "Hey, I got an idea of a song that I've been working on." And he'll start playing it and we may play it 4 or 5 times and kind of hash out what we want to do with it. And then after that, I mean, he's never once gone like, "Hey, why don't you do this? Because I don't like what you're doing." Like,
Yeah.
Y'all do that to me all the time.
I tell him all the time, I'm like, "Whatever you're doing, stop."
It is tough whenever you're talking about something that you're really passionate about because to keep that democratic, like on film sets, it's not that way. I mean, there's sort of a hierarchy. You guys don't, you just kind of work through it together that way.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
as a band, though, like, you have to be that way. You got to work together or kind of build bad blood pretty quick that way.
Yeah.
What do you think each of you brings to the table in regards to that creative process?
I normally bring alcohol.
Yeah.
Or you could say about each other. Like, what do you think in regards to each other's skills?
Y'all bring, like, a good, like, rhythm, like the blend of, like, just the riffs and then the bass lines just kind of make my job way easier than most.
Consistency with him. I don't like.
You mean that?
He plays the same thing every single night, and I dig that. Him, I mean, have you heard him play guitar?
Yeah. Well, you said earlier, and you were joking, but like you talked about Dwight's songwriting and its evolution.
There's been a whole lot of living between between the first, few songs that we worked on together and now. There's been multiple tough times where you can really see the pain or just like the stress like coming out like in his lyrics.
That is what I like about his songwriting the most. Is he's not writing about something that he hasn't been through.
Which is a bad thing, too.
More so for you.
I mean,
For me.
you're being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I dig about it the most. People gravitate towards honest people.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not just a bunch of bullshit,
What would you say to that? I mean, do you put a lot of that, intentionally into your lyrics? Is that how you
It's
express
definitely
yourself? What's going on?
a good thing and a bad thing, too. Like writing songs that actually happen. Like everything usually, when I write it, probably happened, for the most part. But the worst part and the best part of having bad experiences is coming up with great songs, great ideas.
I always try to set up Dwight to get his heart broken so we can get a hit.
Well, I know.
It hadn't worked yet.
Keep trying.
I keep trying.
I blame my condition for leading me speak louder than my words. Still wasting away my 20s, being wasted with no money. I'm still a kid while my friends are on their third. My hands are shaking, mama's heart's breaking. My prayers are a little slurred. Time ain't on my side.
What's the hardest thing about being on the road? What's the hardest thing about being a musician?
I don't like leaving my family. Listening to her say that like she doesn't want me to leave, my daughter,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's kind of hard.
It's definitely hard to get like a balance of when you're still doing the day job thing.
Yeah.
You go off on the road and then come back home to real world and have to shut off all that side of you
Yeah, that's why I almost,
Thursday, you know,
yeah.
when you jump back on the horse again. But
I'd say losing all your friends, kinda, because they'll invite you to everything,
oh yeah,
and then all of a sudden it's like it trickles. The invites start trickling down, and then it's
I'm surprised people still hit me up to like hang out on
Yeah.
a Saturday night or a Friday night.
yeah,
Still get hit up for parties and stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm gone.
yeah. And then when you are in town, they're like, well, we just figured that you weren't, so it's like
Yeah.
assholes.
Obviously, you're drawn
For sure.
to this. Like, what does that give you personally? What is it about playing music that you love?
It's probably like one of the most rewarding things you can do, in a way. I don't know.
Why?
It's something you put all your heart and soul into, and you get like a product afterwards. It's like something like a snapshot of yourself or a snapshot of us, you know, as a band. It's something that will live on longer than what we will, you know.
After you recorded something, questioning that if it's good or not, and then watching people sing it back to you, that's always a good feeling.
Weird.
For the first, the first time, it's like, what? Like, they like it. So,
I wish I still got the butterflies like we used to, like when everything was still so new and we didn't know how we were gonna do, how it was gonna be perceived. It's kind of like playing a football game. You get the butterflies as you're like coming out of the tunnel right
Sure.
before kickoff, right before you actually start your set. It can happen every once in a while.
Certain gigs for sure.
Yeah, it's like, is this crowd gonna like us?
That's
Yeah.
probably the reason why I keep doing it, though. I get that
Yeah.
every time. It doesn't matter if it's acoustic set or whatever. You get the nerves going, and that's like a drive, you know, that you can't recreate. It's like the best drug in the world.
At the end of Stand By Me, Richard Dreyfuss, having spent the entire film recalling the friendships of his youth, types into his extremely 80s computer screen, "I never had any friends later on in life like the ones I had when I was 12. And I'd stop him right there. Those friends, yeah, they're special, no doubt. But I'd raise a glass the same to those brothers you find when you're chasing down that dream. Miles to go and a fuel gauge on empty. The ones beside you on that set or up on that stage who help push you forward and upward and onward down that road on your way and in the chase. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. Always has been. Always will be. And it's about the people you're chasing it down with. Take your shot. Make your stand. Play it loud.
With $1,800, I'll make 35,000 more. I'll take the risk any chance I get, 'cause there's always a bigger score. They say it comes from Columbia, oh, through the Florida shores. I don't really care how it got here, long as it brings me more. Sometimes